Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Combat Sports UK. I'm Taylor Collard here, and it's delighted to be joined by number one ranked Octagon flyweight, Aaron Aby. Aaron, how are you, mate? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, mate. I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. As I say, I'm just freezing cold over here in Germany. I imagine it's the same up there in the northwest. So
Yeah.
we're building up for Octagon 52 in Newcastle, just towards the end of January, the 27th. You've got the fight there against Christopher Daniel. How are preparations going? How are you feeling? Kind of a couple of weeks out now.
Preparation's going well. I feel good. You know, I'm always in the gym, so it's not like I've had any time off and needed to get ready or anything. You know, I've straight after the Garcia fight, I had a week off. I was back training, preparing for whatever's next for me. It's almost got to make sure I just peak and don't do too much all the time, if you get me. But no, I feel like I'm in a good place, and obviously the older I am, the more experienced I am, the more I get used to knowing when to pull back and at what time and everything. So I'm excited and looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and speaking about that as well, kind of the break you had that week, you did a fair bit of traveling. You're out in Cologne with Corey, and then over in Dublin with Dakota Dicheva. How were those experiences?
They're great, you know. They're both top people, and you know, coaching's a big passion of mine. I've been coaching since, you know, I was 14, 15 in football, and then on to MMA from like the age of 18, and that's where I'm going to end up in the future. So, you know, having those experiences is always great, you know. It was Corey's first trip aboard, you know, fighting on a show like Octagon, so it was great to experience that with him. And obviously I've been working with Dakota for a very long time, and you know, winning that PFL European tournament was something that she deserves, and it was great to be on that whole journey with people like that, and just watch them grow, and you know, help them in a small way that I can.
Yeah, and I mean, for you, it must have been amazing experiencing two fantastic performances. You know, Corey went through the fire a little bit. You know, when I spoke to him, he was saying, you know, that he really it was a really good performance from him that he thought, and then obviously Dakota's performance was masterful over there in Dublin. I mean, how satisfying is it for you as a coach to kind of see everything come together like that for both these guys?
Really satisfying from a coaching point of view. Just obviously, you know, nothing will ever be perfect, and you'll never get that position where you're happy with where people are at, but you're always wanting them to grow, and I feel like, you know, they've both shown tremendous growth in their game. And you know, for Corey, going from UKFC to Octagon in front of 20,000 people in Cologne, and getting a submission win shows the work that he's been putting in. And you know, it's a big focus of, like, obviously what he wanted to work, and having, you know, Steve force him into more grappling sessions was something he wasn't very happy with at the start of his journey with us. But you know, he got to show it and show where he's improved and developed in his MMA game. That's what I mean. It's, you know, with this sport, you can't just be one dimensional now. Back in the day when it was striker v grappler, has long gone. So it was great to see that, and you know, same with Dakota. She was levels above that tournament in terms of skill set and mindset, and I feel like I'm excited for the next challenge for her as well now.
Yeah, lots of really exciting things to come for both fighters. We're going to chat you, me, and Corey in a little while, but let's jump back to you. I mean, reflecting on the Manchester fight, I think from my perspective, being cage side, the performance was excellent. Obviously, you kind of had the stoppage with the cut. How do you evaluate the performance now, kind of looking out a couple of months later?
Again, I feel like I'm much more experienced now, and obviously coming to the back end of my fighting career. But I look back at like my last probably 5 or 6 fights, and I feel like I've been progressing and developing in all of them. You know, after being off for a couple of years through the cancer journey, I feel like since I've come back, I've been getting better every one. And I've got obviously a couple of decision losses on there, which, you know, I can still argue with to this day that should have maybe gone in my favour. And then now this one with the cut is going to go down as another loss in a fight that I was feeling comfortable and felt like, you know, I was the better fighter and dominating in all aspects. You know, again, like I said earlier, it's never the perfect performance, and you're always looking to improve. So there's bits I've been working on and looking to develop from that fight that we've picked up and assessed. But I can't sit back on it and now say to you it was shit, or, you know, I'm look like I'm done or anything. Far from it. I feel like I'm getting to that stage where I'm having the best performances, and I've just got to keep making sure that I improve and develop and progress every one.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, from K-Shot, it was an excellent performance up until the stoppage there. And we were talking obviously when I met you in Cologne about getting that rematch back. Why do you think that's not come about? Obviously, you were very, very game for it. You know, we were putting the feelers out there. From your perspective, why do you think it's not come around for this card?
Truthfully, I think I don't think we'll see him in a octagon arena again. I feel like he doesn't want it. You know, I agreed that rematch before I seen you in Cologne. It just wasn't confirmed on his side, and time went by, weeks went by, kept needing more time. He needed more time, and now he's just gone ghost and hasn't replied to the fight or said what's next for him. So, you know, maybe I'm just looking on the downside, and maybe he just wanted Christmas off, and he didn't want to compete in January. But I'll be surprised if he comes back and you know, fights in octagon again. I would love him to. Like I said, I want that rematch with him. He agreed to rematch verbally. But for me, the way like the way it was dealt with by him and his team just wasn't very professional either. You know, like I said, I think it was like November the 13th, I agreed to that rematch, and it was just constantly waiting and then just nothing. And, you know, you're preparing over Christmas, taking time away from the family, not doing things that you would normally do, making sacrifices. And as a professional athlete, I would never do that to another professional. I would either just say, listen, this is a score, I'm out, or I'm in. So again, why it didn't happen, I don't know. But you know, that's what I mean. I could have sat out and waited, but again, I'm not. I like to take things into my own control, and I can only control my performances, my training, and who I compete at. So wait around and fight in for the belt, or make sure I go in there and take it myself and give myself the opportunity. So I didn't want to be in a position where I wait for him to come back, if he did come back, and they'd be like, oh, you need to fight, get a win under your belt before you fight for the belt again. So I just thought, I'll go out there and compete. It's what I love doing. I'm a fighter. You know, I think this is my 6th fight in 11 months, 7th in 14 months. You know, there's probably a handful of people who have done that at the level I'm doing it. So that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, like you said, you've very much taken things into your own control, and you've looked to get back in there. You're always talking about that January card straight after even the post-fight press conference in Manchester. So, how important was it for you that you know you got an opponent, you got Christopher Daniel, and you had that date confirmed, and you knew you'd be competing in Newcastle?
It was important for me. Like I said, I don't want to be sitting around and not fighting, but also it's important for Octagon. I feel, you know, they've been great to me, and we've now got a flyweight division, and we're doing big things, and they're really treating the fight as well. And you know, coming up with this flyweight division, I don't want to make it stale and inactive, which I feel like Garcia would have been doing if he wanted to sit out on the sideline for 6 to 8 months. So I do feel like it's also my responsibility to keep this flyweight division going, and keep it exciting, and keep the eyes on it for Octagon, you know, because they've never had a flyweight division before. So it's important that I carry it with pride, and promote it, and bring out big performances, you know, because I think flyweight's one of the most exciting divisions to watch. I know people might say they like the big heavyweight knockouts, but you know, there's not many heavyweights that can go 3-5 minutes or 5 minutes at the pace that the flyweights can go, and the technical levels of it. So I feel like it was important for me, but also I feel the responsibility of doing that for the Octagon flyweight division as well.
And Christopher Daniel, what do we know about him? It's another American coming over. How are you feeling kind of about him and his style? Well, I mean, what's your style? Do you tend to dive into your opponents and look at their styles, or how do you tend to go about it?
Yeah, like I said, that I'm a coach as well, so
Yeah.
I like to analyze my opponents, and see what I can look to exploit, and what they maybe look to exploit on me. I do think it's a tough fight, but everyone I'm fighting now is good. I do think there'll be areas in the fight that I'll be able to have an advantage on. He's good at jiu-jitsu, especially off his back. But if you look at my fights, I'm a top game ground and pound and jiu-jitsu guy myself. And every fight starts on the feet, and I'm well-rounded. He looks well-rounded as well. But I feel like in mixed martial arts, I've got the ability and the tactical knowledge as well to find an area within the fight that I can win and exploit, and that's what I'll be looking to do from that first second. You know, he's dangerous. His striking looks dangerous as well. He's got some flashy techniques, and like I said, he's very active off his back. He's got a lot of submission wins off his back, but it's important that I stay switched on and focused, and just find that route to victory.
And like you said, like, you're good top game, he's on the bottom. Do you kind of look at that and think, oh, I'd like to test myself in that area, kind of matching up our styles like that? Or do you kind of think, let's game plan it a little bit more sensibly, so to speak? Or will you just look at it in the fight and kind of see what opportunities present themselves?
The competitor in me wants to always go into their realm. Like, even if I'm going against a striker and I'm comfortable on the ground with them, the competitor in me almost wants to strike with them, because it was obviously I grew up a lot watching GSP, and you know, you'd expect him to go for the takedown and he'd end up out striking strikers. So that's the competitor in me. Obviously I'll be game planning with my coaches, but I feel like with this one, obviously I'm a top game guy, he's a bottom game guy, so I feel like we're going to end up in those positions, and it's almost who's better at their own game. And I feel like obviously it's a mixed martial arts fight, it's not jiu-jitsu. Strikes are involved, and being on the bottom is not as advantageous as it would be in a jiu-jitsu grappling match. And I'm hoping I can do that on the night. Obviously I've got to respect his submission game on the bottom and his striking as well, but you know, I'll be looking on the night to see who's got the better game.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun clash of styles, and you seem very much game for for getting involved in it and testing yourself. And when you look at the landscape of Octagon now, you talked about that flyweight division and how important it is for you to build that up. You know, with the uncertainty around Elias, do you kind of see this as this is the fight for the top of the pack, so to speak? How do you kind of see the division playing out and then building it further on?
I feel like I'm the real champ and I'm defending my belt.
There we go.
But no, that's like obviously everyone I speak to, and it's just such a shame that the Elias Garcia fight isn't going ahead. You know, like you said, I was in PFL, I was in Cologne, Germany, and everyone's coming up to me asking me about that fight. Yeah. Like, is the rematch happening? Is the rematch has got to happen? You know, people like Dan Hardy.
Wow.
You know, UFC legends coming up to me saying, he watched the fight, you need that rematch. And it's a shame it's not going ahead. But like I said, I've got to focus on the things in my control. And I am #1 ranked flyweight in Octagon. So at the moment, I'm defending that spot. I'm looking to make sure if there's going to be a title fought for, it's me at one side of that bracket. That's how I'm thinking.
Amazing. And just before we finish up, I'd like to kind of, you hear about martial arts changing a lot of people's lives, kind of more taking them off the streets. But for you, I feel like martial arts has played a very different role in your life through your rehab with cancer and everything like that. So just talk about the role that martial arts in particular has played in your life and how it's kind of been different to other people's journeys, so to speak.
I feel like life is like fighting. And fighting, which we call mixed martial arts, is like life. There's been times in my life where I've used MMA to get me out of tough or dark situations, and there's been times in my life where I've used MMA to get me out of tough and dark situations. I always was told, show me the fighter, I'll show you the person. Show me the person, I'll show you the fighter. And I've been, you know, fighting's true. And I feel like the way I fight in the cage is to express who I am as a person. It's an expression of me and the battles I've had to go through throughout my whole journey to come out the other end. That's why I'm like, when I fight, I'm forward, I'm pushing, I'll never be broken. And be up, down, left, right. I'm just keep going to go forward. And that's how I've had to be in life as well at times. So I feel like there's nothing more real than fighting, and there's nothing more real than life. So they just go hand in hand for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an incredible and an inspirational story all around. I'd like to throw over to you for any shout outs or any sponsors you want to make before we finish up here, Aaron.
I just obviously want to always thank my team and coaches for supporting me on the journey, and obviously my sponsors as well, because, you know, I'm fortunate to be surrounded by so many great people, and without them this wouldn't be possible. And you know, I'm always grateful for that. So thanks for asking me to thank them, because I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, amazing. And that's a testament to fighters, the game you have. Aaron Aby, it's been an absolute pleasure. #1 ranked flyweight, defending that spot January 27th at Octagon 52 in Manchester. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, mate.
Thanks for having me.